I like a boss who's not afraid to get his hands dirty. Today we're taking a look at Playart's Kai, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Rufus Shinra. Welcome back. I wasn't sure if they were going to make Rufus Shinra figure, so I'm so happy that they finally did, because he is such a great character. I really loved his character arc in the original game, and I'm excited to see what they do with him in the remake. So looking at the packaging, you can see a good picture of the figure there. It does open up, and you get a look at Rufus and his accessories. You also get a little biography for Rufus, which you can pause if you want to read. The Final Fantasy VII Remake logo on the side, and on the back, some pictures of the figure itself. So let's get him out of the packaging and see how he looks. We'll start by measuring Rufus up. As you can see, he stands about 10¼ inches tall, or about 26 centimeters. And here's Rufus posed next to the two Turks. We have Reno and Rude, and I think they look just amazing together. It's so great to have the Shinra baddies here all in one. Really love their story in the original game. I'm excited to see what happens in future installments of the remake. But yeah, just having these figures on the shelf is great. For accessories, you do get this base with all these holes in it. Using this articulated pole here, you can just insert it into anyone. All right, around that, and you've got two of these little grabbers. Just attach it to the end, and you can use it to hold the figure up however you want to. Really like that they have this. It allows you to pose the figures in some really dynamic poses while still having them being stable. So that's great. You do get an alternate head sculpt, which we'll take a closer look at when we look at the figure, but it is a smiling head sculpt. You do have a variety of weapons. You have the rifle here and the shorter pistol. Really cool looking weapon design. You can see there's a lot of little parts in that, all kind of painted. See where the bullets go. Really nice design. Very steampunk. And then you have the combined version of the two guns there. They don't actually combine these ones. In the game, it kind of just attaches this to the end and forms this great big weapon. Really long. Very cool. And in addition to the fists that come on the figure, you do get a pair of trigger hands for each finger, or each hand, two splayed open hands, and then this last hand holding these two coins, which he kind of holds up in the game and throws them, and he shoots through them, which gives him a more powerful attack or something. I'm not really sure how that worked in the game, but that's a really cool option. I'll probably be displaying him with that. Looking at Rufus Shinra, probably the biggest redesign of all the characters in Final Fantasy VII Remake. In the original game, he just wore a white suit and was a redhead. Now they've gone for kind of an ashy blonde. Not sure why. I like the redhead, but I always kind of pictured him as being Conan O'Brien while playing the original game, so maybe they kind of wanted to avoid that. You can see the faces. I like the color in the eyes in that. These strands of hair hanging down are really well done. I like that they're sculpted into that. They're not a separate piece kind of glued on. It looks really good. You can see the hairline at the back there. Got a mullet. But nice sculpting in the hair. Bring them around. It's the alternate head sculpt, so you can compare. I think I like the smiling version the best. He's kind of a smarmy ass in the game, so it fits for his personality. Moving down though, the suit, really different. Gone for this kind of trench coat. I really like the purple here. It goes well with Rude, who also has the purple there, and kind of Reno's hair color. You can tell that Square kind of designed the trio to go together. So that's really cool. Just the white, it stands out so much compared to some of the other characters in that. Nice kind of black buttons just to break up that color there. Really like this belt. It's like a gunslinger's belt. You almost expect there to be a holster on the side there where he has one of his guns, but he doesn't. As we move down, he's got this wild skirt piece, kind of belt design here, a little bit like Lulu in Final Fantasy X. Really well done clasps and stuff like that. It's interesting that if you look at the design of the Shinra characters, they don't really wear a lot of belts, but the slum characters do. It's almost like this is slum chic. Like some fashion designer wanted to do slum style, but a high-end version of it. And that's what he has here. All of this is done in a soft rubber. Kind of flares out. Cool paint design inside. All these buttons going down. And then his legs here. He's got some great big boots. You can tell this was really made to kind of flare out and be really dynamic in his final fight with Cloud. Be interesting to see if he goes into a more traditional suit in the other games or not, but we haven't seen him yet, so see. Doesn't have any peg holes on the bottom of his feet, but he does have treads in that. Let's go back, more of these belts. And just kind of sculpting that. Really just picks it out, looks fancy, high-end. So yeah, an interesting redesign for Reno. Not what I expected, but, excuse me, Rufus Shinra. But I really like it, the colors and the kind of wild design. It fits his personality. They kept a lot of the characters looking pretty close to the way they were in the original, so I don't mind that they kind of deviated for Rufus, especially since his character arc might be a little bit different because of some of the things that happen in Remake, and I'm interested to see what they do with him. But a nice looking figure. Turning to articulation, the head is on a dumbbell joint, so it does move independent of the neck there. You do get a really good up and down movement on there. Well, the up is great because of the hair, but the down is really good. And then you have more movement at the neck. And it does kind of shift back and forth and everything, and does turn all the way around. Because this is done in a rubber, it doesn't hinder articulation, so he's able to raise his arms really well and rotate around. Like the other figures, the shoulders do shift up and down, so you want to make sure to kind of pose them more up. You don't want him down like that because he looks like a robot. Nice double bend elbow there. The hands are on a hinge. There is rotation at the shoulder as well too. As far as the abdomen goes, you don't get much movement out of him. A little bit of forwards, basically no back because of all of his kind of crazy design here. You do get rotation at the waist, however. Turning to the feet, or the legs I should say, they do split out, but because this is kind of a firmer rubber, it's not going to flow naturally, so you are somewhat limited because of this. That's the way the character is designed, so there's not much they could really do with the figure unless they went with soft goods, and I'm not the biggest fan of soft goods, so I'm glad they went with this. We're able to have the legs go back a little bit. You do kick forward like that. Again, this whole skirt piece is going to be a problem for him. You do get a single bend knee. There is good movement in the foot though. Up and down, side to side. Oh, there is also a split, or excuse me, a rotation at, oh, there's a split at the thigh here. And rotation at the knee. So you do get some movement out of there. And of course there is toe articulation. So he is limited by his costume in that. Generally, I'm going to have him standing posed with the Turks. So for me, that's fine. But some people might not be too thrilled with this skirt. But there's really nothing you could do as far as figure form goes. They have tried to do some rotation in that in the legs that we haven't seen in some of the other figures to kind of compensate for that, but there's not much Square could do about it. I do think the articulation is pretty well hidden. You just see that in his arms there. Otherwise, pretty seamless. So, looks good. So overall, it's a very interesting redesign for Rufus Shinra, and I think translated to figure form, they did a really good job. I really like all the layers and the paint detail. It's really designed to be visually pleasing. And I think it fits his personality really well. He's kind of pompous, eccentric, rich. He's got the best of everything. And compared to the other figures, even the Turks there, he really does stand out. The weapons are really well detailed. I like the coin holding hand in that. And it's great to have the two head options with the different expressions in that. The skirt piece on him does cause some problems with articulation, but that's the design of the character. There's not really a whole lot you can do. It does look really good. I like the strapping in that hanging down. It's the way the character looks. I think having him posed with the Turks looks really good, and I hope we get the rest of the Turks to go with them. I'm just happy that this figure exists at all. They are delving this deep into the line, and they have announced Shinra soldiers too. So you could pose them kind of flanking him, which should also help make the figure look great. If you enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate it if you could hit the thumbs up button. That really helps me out. I have reviewed many Final Fantasy VII figures, and I have more to come, so be sure to subscribe if you want to see those. But for right now, I'd like to thank you for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye.